Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Hall Virtual Happy Hour. My name is Catherine Hall, and I'm speaking to you from my shelter in place here in Rutherford, California. These are really difficult times for all of us, and for some of us, so much harder than for others. But whatever your situation is, I hope that you can put the worries of the world aside for the next half hour and have a little lighthearted conversation with us about wine and about about food and getting together. So welcome. And I hope you'll also continue to enjoy these chats with us over the rest of this month. We are going to have a similar chat either live on Facebook or Instagram Live every weekday through the end of the month. So come back and join us. We're here for you between Baca and Walt and Hall. We've got you covered. Just check us out online and we can tell you, you can get all the details that you need. Also, when you're online, if you want to order the wines, all the wines that we'll be drinking today, and in fact, all of our wines are available for purchase at our online store, and we can deliver from them to you to your doorstep, and we'd love to do that. And finally, although we're in addition to these virtual sip-ups that we're having, we are also having some virtual tastings from the wineries. You know, we can't take any guests right now, but we have senior wine educators, and they will curate a tasting for you. So with that, our topic for today is how to, and by the way, all these Hall series are how-tos. So our topic for today is how to plan the perfect date night. Date night has changed over the last couple months for all of us. We don't go to restaurants anymore. We can't go to the movies. If you need a babysitter, you can't find one or can't get one to come over. So there's a lot of things going on, and yet still we can find some nice times to be with our significant other and have a date night. So we're going to talk about some tips for that, setting the mood, and also having some wonderful, tasteful, healthy food, as well as having some great wine. So to join me in this discussion is just a wonderful woman whom you all know. She is the author of a fabulous cookbook. But in addition to that, the way you probably know her best is that she is the West Coast anchor for the Today Show. She's on Dateline NBC. She's on Nightly News. She's really all over the place online, and we are all lucky to have her. So let me bring on, if you can, Natalie Morales. Natalie, hi.
Hi, friend. I'm sending you a virtual hug.
Hug to you. It is so nice to see you. Yeah.
It's great to connect again, and I so looked forward to the Cabernet cook-off. I was going to be there with you, but unfortunately, with the coronavirus, we had to cancel, and hopefully next year we'll all be back.
You are so wonderful to do that with us. I mean, for the last 2 years you've done it, and we've been raising money for charities all over Northern California. So it really is so much due to your presence and your leadership, and we really are all very grateful. And you make it really fun. So
well, we always have a good time. Whenever there's red wine being poured, you know me, there's a party happening.
It's fun. And by the way, I think we should have a little wine. So yes. I'm thinking we're going to have this is going to be our first wine that we're going to have together. This is our Cur St. Helena, from St. Helena. Okay. And can I just pour you a glass? I have this new skill now.
Sure. Okay. So I'm ready. Go ahead.
Do this.
Virtually,
sort of. And
perfect pour.
What we can do. There's all these different ways that you can sort of entertain yourself when you're.
The magic of television. I can tell you it works. It tastes amazing. Cheers to you, Catherine. And I hope in Rutherford and in Napa, you all are doing well. I know, of course, obviously this means tourism in the area is impacted, and the visits that we usually like to come and pay there are not happening this time of year, but hopefully you'll all get back soon.
Yeah, I mean, we're used to, we're survivors. I think all of us here in Napa Valley. So thank you for that. How are you
now
doing?
more than ever, charity will definitely be helpful, I'm sure. Exactly. We're doing great. I have to say, it's been hard in the sense that, I've never had so much time at home, which is kind of makes you go a little stir crazy, but I really appreciate it at the same time. I'm usually on a plane or going somewhere, and so it's rare that I'm not traveling at least once or twice a week. So to actually be homebound for a while is kind of a good break.
Well, I'll bet you Joe and the kids just love it, actually.
They love it. They love it. And my dogs especially love it. Everybody's getting a little spoiled, having a lot of good home cooked meals. And yeah.
I'm glad that they appreciate it. I mean, I still can't believe, how can you do all the things you do? And then on top of that, you write a cookbook? I mean.
Well, cooking is my passion. And I think a lot of people are discovering, especially now, we need to be at home cooking, because it's not like we can order, you can do takeout only so many times. And it is the more healthy way to eat. So I approach it more because I like to eat healthy. So I'd rather know what I'm putting into my food. So for me, it was that, but also, I have a lot of cultural history because I grew up all over the world, and I'm Puerto Rican and Brazilian. So this cookbook was a way to preserve a little bit of my family's history, and some of our traditions and our foods really are a part of that tradition. So it was really a great way for me to kind of have a record now, so that my kids someday will be able to pass it on to their families. And now, they have the recipes that are sort of, the memories of my childhood. I think obviously taste is one of the ways we really hit our memory center, and through our food, your experiences around a dinner table with your family, those are all the memories that you preserve.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Actually, and for me too, it's also, I have memories related to wine. I mean, sort of like which wines I had in which places, and they really also speak to cultures. I mean, I think there are certain wines that I associate, and they're better. Some wines are better in Italy than we can make in California, so that's really wonderful. Now, I've got some pictures. Before you came on, I was looking for some photos, and I've got some pictures from the last time I saw you.
Oh, that's the cabin last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the year before?
It was, there's my husband. He's going to be the beneficiary of date night tonight.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, and by the way, I want you talk about your cookbook, but I want everybody to see it. And I make things from this, everybody, and it's fabulous. It really is wonderful.
So happy.
It's just it's upbeat. It's really very much like Natalie is, and it's
very personal. Sure. Yeah.
It is a personal story.
Yeah.
Right. So this wine that we're drinking, this is the 2016 Cur, which is, by the way, the wine that we drank when you were up here last time. And so here's the label.
It's such a beautiful label.
Thank you. Yeah.
I
like this label too. It's one of our pieces of art that we have. So this comes from the valley floor. It is an area that produces very luscious wines that have a lot of bright fruit in them, a lot of sort of raspberry notes on the nose, and really in a subtle way, some raspberry flavors in the wine itself. Just sort of bright fruit, also just very full-bodied and lush. And I think it's really aging very well, gotta say.
Yeah. And what is the inspiration with the name Cur? Because I know all of your wines have special names to you all.
We call this Cur because it is from a vineyard that's right in the center of the valley, and the heart of the valley, and Cur is heart in French. So
very
Very nice. So tell me, Chef Natalie,
Yes.
what would you pair with this wine?
Well, I mean, it is a beautiful, full-bodied wine. I actually need a little bit more. Can you pour me a little bit more? I'm going to do this quickly. Here we go.
I love it. I'm going to have to do better on those pours. Are you ready?
There we go. Yes.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Through the magic of television.
Yes. Through the magic of television. What we can do.
We'll get the hang of it by the end of this. We'll be old pros. I would say with this, I mean, you can't go wrong when you're drinking a full-bodied red with a perfect beef fillet or even a flank steak. I make a really delicious beef tenderloin fillet that is so simple to make. I mean, truly, the trick of it is in the butter. It has an herbed butter, which I actually made for you guys today. I took some herbs I have like a little herb garden, and you grind them up in a food processor. You melt the butter just a little bit and then blend it with the mixer. You blend the herbs in, and then you can just store it in the refrigerator in parchment paper. So it looks like this. And then you use a pat of butter to saute the tenderloin on. I'm actually making that for dinner for my date night tonight, although my date night always includes my kids. Not very romantic.
Yeah.
And then a pat of the herbs butter on top as well. And it just looks beautiful presentation wise. It's like this perfect little splay of green color right on top. But then also when you sink your teeth into it, it just adds that extra little bit of zest that sometimes a fillet could use a little bit of that. So this wine, I think, is a perfect pairing with that. But I know you are pescatarian. So let me ask you, what would you pair with this?
Well, I did prepare something, but first I just want to show everybody you have a picture.
Yes.
You have a picture of this in your book. So At Home with Natalie, and here it is. We've got lovely.
Yes.
There
you go.
Yeah, really does. Yeah,
that's really all you need, with a little Caesar salad on the side, and it's delicious. But you know, my book I have a lot of vegetarian and vegan friends. So when I have dinner parties, I try to include everyone. And if you were coming to my house for dinner, I might make something different for you because you are vegetarian or pescatarian. So I would probably make a perfect bean burger. What do you think?
Well, what a coincidence. I just happen to have one. I actually made this. I made it, and I made it from your recipe, and it just looks
beautiful.
Huh?
Amazing. And it tastes
I put it on the grill, so I'm excited. So anyway,
a lot of people make like a bean burger, they're afraid that it's going to fall apart on the grill. And the trick really is you have to spray your grill down a bit first to make sure that it's clean, and spray a little cooking spray. And then to also allow your burgers, after you make the bean burger, to rest in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes, maybe even overnight would be better. So that way it actually just kind of dries up just a little bit before you put it on the grill, so it stays intact.
Oh, that's great.
Little tip.
Nice. So we have a question from one of our viewers here, Natalie, Whitney Jacobson. And she wants to know, what's your kids' favorite meal that you make? Is it in your cookbook?
My kids, I would say probably the chicken nuggets. My youngest is not very adventurous, so he's a plain pasta chicken nugget eater.
That's so great.
So I don't really have to pull anything out of this book. I would say anything that's a chicken recipe is usually going to be a big hit. I've got a great chicken paella that I love to make because it's a one pot, giant big paella pan pot, and it cooks very quickly. They love anything. They do love filet. So this is one meal that I know tonight, date night, is going to be a big hit.
I love it when you say date night. That's just good. Yeah. So, Natalie, we have some club members from Chicago who are going to join us, and we're going to talk about their date nights. And there, Shauna and John. Shauna and John, are you there? Hey guys.
We are.
Welcome.
Cheers.
Cheers to everyone.
From Chicago.
Cheers to you. So
Cheers.
now, Natalie, I think we need to move on to the next wine because you guys
Okay.
are they're drinking the Howell Mountain wine. Are you not?
Ah.
Okay. So we're going to do that. So
We
let me get this one. So here's this wine.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to get it around where you can see it. And Natalie, may I pour you a glass of this wine?
Sure. Go ahead. Here we go. Ah, I love that sound. Isn't that a beautiful sound?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ta-da.
I tell you what. So cheers. Cheers to you guys there in Chicago. How
Thank
are
you.
you?
Good luck on the fillets,
Hi.
Natalie.
Yeah.
Cheers
Cheers.
to you.
So what are you doing sheltering in place there? I'm assuming Chicago really has been in a tough situation for a while. How are you faring and how are you taking care of yourselves?
We're doing well. We're trying to exercise as best we can. I mean, there aren't any gyms open and that sort of thing, but we take walks whenever the weather is good and allows us to do that. And, we'll do a bike ride here or there. It just depends if it's raining, snowing, or sunny, and it can be all three within a couple of weeks in Chicago. So, but I think as of today, we all have to wear the mask. We're supposed to wear it all through the city, and then to go into any store, and even in our own condo building that we're in, we have to
So
wear
stores
that.
are open there?
What is that?
I didn't know stores are open there.
Well, grocery stores, and we
Oh,
have
grocery
a great
store.
fish market. So there are some grocery stores that we like that have a lot of organic foods and that sort of thing. And then John discovered an amazing fish market that they get their fresh fish in every single day, including Sunday. So we have become big fish people. And I, like you, Natalie, I have been very, very interested in cooking since I was a little girl. And I have gotten back to that because that's one of the things we do for date night. He likes to be a part of it. And I guess to set the mood, a lot of times we'll light candles. He's great about putting flowers on the table, which is really sweet. He always makes sure there's flowers. And then we watch a movie or we watch something, we binge watch on Netflix or something.
What have
or
you been
we watch
watching? I need a new
documentaries.
recommendation, Shauna.
Well, it's interesting. I would love to talk to you because we have very similar interest in that regard. But I can tell you, every night begins with a Catherine Hall wine, and that is the truth.
Yeah.
I was telling
I appreciate
your daughter that, Catherine, we love the wine, and I think most of our wine cellar is Catherine Hall, frankly. So,
It's my
but
favorite.
no, I think what it's done. This sheltering in place, in a lot of ways, has brought people together, and whether it's through, I don't know, Zoom or FaceTime chats or whatever it is, I think people are really spending more time together, and it's brought us closer in an odd way. We're and because we're all like going stir crazy.
Yeah.
But it's just been refreshing in a lot of ways because you're spending more times with kids and each other and having talks that you probably wouldn't have because we're all racing around at our jobs and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it is true. I mean, I do think the silver lining in all of this, and I hope what we don't forget is, the way we're reaching out to people that maybe we haven't seen or talked to in so long. I had a Zoom reunion with my old class from the American Madrid. It was like 10 people on screen all at once. And it was just great, just talking about their kids growing up and catching up on all the things that I've missed in all the years. I mean, high school was so long ago.
Right.
So,
I hear you.
how long ago? But from that to just, even doing puzzles and playing a game of Uno with my kids and movies with my husband every night. We've been watching, by the way, Money Heist on Netflix is my recommendation. I'm behind
Money Heist?
one. Yes, it's very, very good.
Okay, all right, we'll have to check that out. We've
Well,
been
I'm looking
watching,
for another
I don't
one.
know, what, Westworld and some,
Yeah.
Ozark is very good.
Ozark, I just finished season 3. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just wanted to say something, as you made a comment about Chicago being tough. I definitely want to take a moment to kind of thank all the first responders across the country, people that could be watching this. We certainly appreciate everything they've done, and our hearts and thoughts go out for the work they've done, and also for all the people out there that are affected, people that are victims. And we want to make sure that Chicago's sending a big heartfelt thoughts to you and prayers to you, and hope everyone's sheltering in place safely. But back to kind of the dinners at hand, I think that one of the things that has been kind of interesting is the amount of effort has gone into dinners, and it's actually quite fun with wine, cooking, and all that stuff is very therapeutic. It's relaxing. It's, I think, something that with music is kind of a really fun thing to do. I'm glad to really rediscover it. Instead of it being just the chore to get something on the table, it's become more of an event, and I kind of like that, and it allows you to kind of go into the movie or book or whatever music afterward you're doing in a really nice, subtle way. And just wanted to throw that out there. And lastly, I would say, as Billions starts on Sunday, if no one's a Billions, just saying.
Well, we're waiting, so we're a Billions fan.
Wine helps. Let me just say a little bit about this last wine, because Natalie and I, it's very different from the Howell Mountain. So this is, whereas the Kerr was from the valley floor and was very lush and sort of bright fruit. This one comes from one of the highest elevations in Napa. It's a 1,400 feet elevation. It's so high that it's actually, the vineyard itself is above the fog line, which means it gets sun all the time. And that's why you get so much rich fruit. I mean, I love this vineyard, and I think it's one of my favorites. And then it comes from a really rocky soil, so then it gets the intensity. And anyway, it's
beautiful.
It's a great wine.
Yeah, and I know you're so. Shauna and Joe, and thank you so much, John, and for joining us. Both of you guys are great, and thank you for the shout out. We all share the emotion of gratitude towards our first responders, and thank you for saying that. So I
we look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes, when you can travel and we can be open.
Hopefully we'll see you in June.
Yeah.
So Natalie, they were talking a bit about the sort of setting the mood, and I thought that you're the cook, you're the chef, but
not really. But I like to cook. I think in terms of setting the mood, first of all, it always starts with a glass of wine while I'm making dinner, right? Yeah. Because the chef has to be in the mood first in order for it to translate to the guests. And then really is the minute, my friends, when we can have people over again, walk in the house, it's everything from beautiful music playing to just the aromas that they smell coming from the kitchen. And to me, it's really, I'm a very low maintenance kind of person. I just believe in a nice, simple place setting, nothing too fussy, very organic, everything just kind of works. It's fun to have a theme. So if, we can do a theme surrounding the evening, I like to do that as well. And maybe a signature cocktail to go along. Sometimes I think that helps kind of just create and up the spirits a little bit, literally.
Yeah, right.
And, but really it's, when it comes to setting the mood, to me, it really is about having people around you that you love to be with, and that you could be eating anything from a takeout burger to a gourmet beef fillet or a pescatarian dish or any, to me, it's more about making sure that everybody is happy and they have something that they're enjoying and that they just enjoy being around each other.
Here's to that.
Yes.
So what Craig and I normally do, Craig is my husband, and our kids have their own homes now. But normally we just sit at a counter right by here by the kitchen. It's actually just the other side of where I'm standing.
Mhm.
And one of us will cook, and then the other, and we'll both be drinking wine, and we talk while we do it. But for date night, I think it's kind of fun to make a special table and make it a little bit unusual. So anyway, I put together, because we're going to take advantage of tonight and have date night. So my husband is really, yeah, thanks. And
Wow.
so I think actually just taking a different venue makes something sort of special. And then, and using, for me, I think a lot of us have china that we got on when we got married that we never use.
My china looks just like your china.
I love it. Wow, I love this.
Is that Wedgwood? Mine was.
Yeah, it's. I know the pattern in Wedgwood. It's not Wedgwood. It's Bernardo, I think, but it's I love that.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Thanks. But anyway, I never use it. But I thought it would be fun to do this tonight, and so we set this out, and you can see that. Anyway, it's a little different. But I also think it's not. In addition, I like flowers. I think they bring color, and Craig doesn't care at all about flowers. It doesn't matter to him at all. But I think if you're going to have flowers, two things that are important to me, and that is that they don't have a scent. I love scented flowers, but just not at the table, because they get in the way of the food and the wine.
Right.
And also that they be low.
Yeah.
So, nicely done over there. So that way you can sort of see how it's, you can see the person on the other side rather than be looking.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that is a great tip, because how often do you go to a restaurant and you're like moving everything out of the way just so you could see each other and have a real conversation? So that's a beautiful table. And it's true, Joe's 50th birthday is next Wednesday. It's the big one. Oh, and I'm going to have to borrow that tip about breaking out my china, because it gets used maybe during the holidays, and that's pretty much it. So time to break that out and do something fun.
So I want to take advantage of you being here and just show you, I know that you use your food from your garden and herbs from your garden in the butter that you made. And I put together like a bowl of some beautiful vegetables that I got from our garden here this morning. And I thought I'd ask you to say a little bit about, what you would do with maybe one or two of the things.
Okay. Your garden is much bigger. I'm one of those people that I did plant a victory garden, as we're calling them. Sounds like you've had yours for a while, but looking at those vegetables. Those are beautiful. So I see you have, are those green beans or fava beans?
They're fava beans, which I love. They are so much work, but I love it.
They're so delicious. Fava bean is really great with like a tomato bouillabaisse kind of stew. I made a great white bean stew that was in the New York Times cooking edition, which I'm obsessed with. And it was delicious, but you can make a delicious stew with that. It looks like you also had some kale, lots of lemons. Your bounty is very full there. It's beautiful.
I have so much kale. Kale, once you put it in, it just like takes over, it stops. And also leeks. I've got gobs and gobs of leeks.
Well, I think leek soup with leek and potatoes is delicious. Leek potatoes, onions. Actually, the woman who wrote the book, French Women Don't Get Fat, which uses.
I like that concept.
Yes, she makes the mainstay of the entire diet is you eat this leek soup, which by day 4 you're sick of it, but day 1 and 2 it's delicious. But it's it's a delicious soup, and leeks are just so healthy. You can put leeks in just about anything. You don't eat pork, but a piece of pork tenderloin with leeks, it just adds a beautiful it's just like a fragrant aroma to the food as well.
Oh, fabulous. Okay, well, we've got a couple more questions. We've got a lot of questions for you, but we don't have time for them all, so I'm going to just pick one here. And this says, okay, this is maybe off topic, but I just want to ask you, but it's not off topic. I'm okay. Whatever. Do you have a favorite or wild celebrity interview experience that you can tell us about, please?
A lot of really great celebrities that I've interviewed. I'm trying to think. I mean, we can always remember ones where we felt like, ooh, that didn't go as planned. Or maybe, that person wasn't in a very good mood. I once had an interview. I'm not going to say who the person was, with somebody. I know that everybody's disappointed. And let's just say an interview is very much like a dance. You have to move at the same time. You have to feel each other a little bit. And this person clearly was not into me. So,
Well, give that
and
person up
it was somebody who's a very popular comedian, and it, for whatever reason, I guess it didn't feel good to me. I'm sure it didn't feel good to that person. Needless to say, that's one that sticks, because I was like, what could I have done better? And I'm like, I tried everything. So, but I will say, for the most part, I'm always so pleasantly surprised when it turns out that, when you talk to the celebrities, they're willing to share and talk about their kids. And, it's always amazing to me when you meet some of what I want to say, the real ones, in the sense that, like, they're willing to share that they're real people too, and do the things that we do with their kids. And, those are the ones who I guess tend to remember most.
Natalie, you are such a real person, and it really is such a joy for me that you came on, and I'm sure for everybody who follows you and who's been on today watching. We've got a lot of people who've been watching you today, so I just can't tell you thank you enough.
Thank you.
We have a promo. We're doing there it is. Promo code Natalie, which is 20% off on any wines that all of our wines. So it's a good deal.
That's a great deal. Cheers to that. I'll drink to that.
Well, thank you. And so we have, we're going to continue to do this show. We are going to, let's see, I'm on again next Wednesday with two brothers who are very talented and also very funny, and they have written series that we all know, Seinfeld. It's Jeff and Greg Schaefer, and Jennifer is going to be on with Baca on Monday, and she'll be here with Neil Gottlieb, who is the owner and the founder of Three Twins Ice Cream. So we've got some really fun things coming up. Thank you to everybody. Natalie, do you have any last words for everybody?
No, I just want to say, everybody, to all of you, to just love one another, and just, this is a very extraordinary time. But, I think the silver lining is really that, there is so much love and so much support all around. And I'm so grateful for all the people who really have done so much to help so many others. And those are the ones who, as John mentioned earlier, the first responders, the caregivers, all the people who are doing their part, the grocery workers, to really help the rest of us out. So just want to say a heartfelt thank you. And thanks for having me on. And any chance I get to share a glass of wine with you, even if it's virtually, Catherine, is always amazing. And your kitchen is stunning, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. So my joy. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you to everybody for joining us. And I'll see you next week. And stay healthy and sip up.
Cheers.
Cheers.